Bruce, this is your floor. Oh, you love it. And you know I love you, by the way. You know I do. And I'm being serious. So, all right, guys, let's get this done.
Was there anything you saw in this game that you were looking for that maybe you didn't see the first game?
Well, this was more of a preparation game. Point Loma is they have a really good program. They have a good coach. They have Division I level players. And if you've ever been to Point Loma's campus, you know why they're there. It's beautiful. And it's a great place, and it's a great college experience. So they're doing things the right way. And Justin does a really good job. They got a nice system. And I'm glad we played against it because – I'm saying I don't know the right percentage, but a high percentage of teams have elements of that system in what they do. So we needed to prepare for it. So it was great just to have a few days to be able to prepare for those actions and kind of figure out some plan A's and plan B's, how we wanted to guard it. And then they tempo pressed us a little bit, which was good. I mean, the little bit of a 1-2-2 press. So we had to think and adapt, and we made some mistakes and fouled a lot too early. And, we got to learn from that. We had great officials, and I'm sure they were most of them were all fouls. So, and in the second half, I thought our guys did a much better job. We didn't lose our edge, but we just played a little cleaner. And when we take away, their free throws, and then second half, you kind of wear them out a little bit. The threes are a little harder to make. The twos were really hard to make. I mean, that's a winning formula.
Fouls have forced you to maybe play some lineups that you wouldn't have otherwise?
I mean, maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, I didn't do a good job managing the end of the half. I put a five-guard lineup out there, and to be honest with you, we haven't spent any time. And in the past, we may not have spent any time on a five-guard lineup, but you throw a veteran like Pella out there, and he could figure it out for everybody. And so you need one guy to kind of become a little bit of a guy you can play through, a little bit of a catalyst when you kind of go with just a lineup that you're not normally playing. So that was a little bit on me, or a lot on me. But I would have loved to see our players solve it. Really good players make their coach look good. And when your coach makes mistakes because he hasn't worked on something enough, they can make you really good by solving problems. And so I was hoping that would happen, but it didn't. And so we'll work on it a little bit.
Different players, Jaden, compared to last year.
Jaden's gotten so much better. I mean, just if you look at his growth in the last, let's say 15 months, but the last 12 months, the last 6 months, and, you can see his confidence growing, and I think he's got an identity for how he wants to play. And, I think he kind of had that identity before, but I think now he's packaged it with fundamentals. And what are fundamentals? Fundamentals are just repeatable habits. He's got repeatable habits and a great foundation from which he's playing from. So he's just a really effective player.
Fouls, what was your take on Delly's fouling a three-point shoot, and then there was a technical on?
Yeah, that? I mean, listen, I think something will happen between him and that kid. You just can't stand over somebody. I mean, because the official told me, he's like, hey, I don't know what he said, but just somebody stands over somebody and then, whatever. It looks like it's threatening, and then, the guy on the floor retaliates, and then who knows what happens. So I thought the ref did a great job of handling it, and we got to learn just, I think we can have, take a deep breath in those situations and not hurt ourselves.
I think we saw what we saw in Carter, the improvement or whatever, what you saw in recruiting him. He's just that dude who does a lot of different things well. Yeah.
Carter has a great ability to impact the game in a lot of areas, and, and I've been on him. Just to really focus on effort and energy. I think, as that habit builds for him, and it is building, he is playing hard. But, when you're a supreme athlete and really talented, one of the greatest gifts you have is to be able to play harder than other people. So now we got to get it so he's obviously playing like, I think KJ setting a good example for him. I mean, KJ today was tremendous in his effort, and Jaden as well. And listen, I think Caleb made a lot of progress in that area. So I think our overall effort and energy is getting where it needs to be.
But, when Luke had his guys here, 10 guys, the second team gave the first team, they sharpened him. He must get sharpened by the guys he's going against every day.
For sure. I mean, there's no doubt. This year, we probably went a little bit more head-to-head in practice, than we have in other years, and I think it's helped him. Hey, all of our guys, have had tough days here and there, but that's part of the process. So I like how we're trending. I love that we're getting on to the real thing, and I'm excited to have another really good week of practice, and then next Monday it's for real.
Do you anticipate Mo being a bit ready by then?
We're going to see. I mean, he's amping it up day by day, and I think he had a good day today, And, as long as we don't have any setbacks, I mean, that's a possibility, but, I'm going to let, Justin and Big Mo kind of make that decision.
Well, do you kind of look at it like Wisconsin's kind of the big key to get him back by then, or?
Canisius, Monday. Is it November 4th? That's what I'm focused on. I don't even know who we play second.
Wisconsin was what you were looking. Oh, somebody asked you about the Big 12, and you said Wisconsin. You were focused.
I mean, listen. I'm not looking past Canisius. I'm not looking past Old Dominion. I mean, obviously, we know playing on the road at Wisconsin is going to be really hard. So, it's we're focused on continuing to grow, and one of the things is we take a lot of pride in not getting ahead of ourselves.
I'm sorry. I meant in terms of getting Big Mo back.
I mean, if Justin tells me he could play 25 minutes on Monday, I'd love to have him for 25 minutes. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to let Justin and Mo, I don't have any, any other thoughts on that, like on specifics. I want him back as soon as we can get him, as long as it's Justin and the doctors feel like he's, he's built for the long haul. I mean, that's the main thing I'm interested in.
When it comes to Canisius, with them having a new coach and transfer portal and all that, can you really do much scouting on an opponent like that?
Well, I mean, a little bit. Coaches have tendencies, but hey, I have not watched one. I don't even know what school colors Canisius is, and that's no disrespect to Canisius. I haven't watched one clip of film on them. We've been locked into where we're at, and I've been really focused on our own team. And I'm going to continue to focus on us for a few more days, and then, over the weekend we'll start prepping, and and hopefully, in our preparation this fall, we've, built a really good foundation that's, going to, probably be the foundation of our game plan.
A little about Jaden going from last year to this year and being really improved. The difference in Caleb from last year to this year, it's kind of, you're asking less from him or more efficient? What are you asking for?
Well, I'm just asking Caleb to, he's a veteran who's been there, done that. And I don't think Caleb every second on the floor has to try to outdo what he's done before. I love how he's blended into the game. I love the fundamentals he's playing with, and just really valuing those. Like, he had a drive in the second half going left, got to a jump stop. He picked the ball up with a good pickup, had a swivel. It's a technique we call, and a little dump down pass to Trey for a dunk. I thought that was one of the better plays of the entire game. The highlight dunks and coming off the ball screen and dunking. That's cool. He can do that, but I just think this keep getting him to appreciate the simple things and the fundamentals, and that'll be great value for our team and great value for him as a player.
What's your thoughts on KJ, the times when you've had him, especially at running the point? He looked like you have experimented with him a little bit.
I mean, it's not an experiment. I mean, he's a good player. And so, we honestly haven't practiced much in practice, but I'm trying to, just give it a few looks here and there, and then casually build it, over the course of the next few weeks. Because I think, it's not necessarily that he's the point guard. I think if you put him out there with Deli, could be the point guard. I think Caleb could be the point guard. I'm not really just having another lineup if we need to rest JB and, Conrad. I mean, somebody I really trust, but giving us another option as well.
How has Caleb been able to appreciate what you want him to appreciate?
I think, Caleb and I have a lot of trust in each other, and he knows that, me maybe asking him not to do more is good for our team, and ultimately could be really good for him in what he's trying to pursue. So, now listen, I'm sure Caleb's going to have 25-point plus games here and there. I mean, that's just the type of player he can be. But I don't know if we want to build our team, where we're dependent on that. And because I think we have a lot of weapons and a lot of pieces, and we can come at you a lot of different ways.
I think there was a game or two when you said, "Okay, Caleb, you've made enough points, blah blah blah. You've scored enough. Let the other guys. You probably won't have to do that again with him."
I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. Now, we'll have to see how everybody. The next game's for real. I hope we keep the same approach. Player to player. I hope we don't start playing for stats. I mean, we've never been a program that really, talks about playing for individual stats. We just talk about accumulating effort. A cumulative effect is something we always talk about, and I think you can see that with the way we play. And we have the tendency we can wear people out over time, just with, ball pressure on defense, activity off the ball, transition offense, our post ceiling. I mean, that there's an intentional aspect of what we're doing.
The way Henry played in that first exhibition, and then tonight you went to him early, is that a sign he can be in the rotation regardless, or do you see him as maybe in certain matchups or certain styles?
I mean, I see him in the rotation regardless. You know, I mean, that's been the plan all along. And, you know, what you guys are seeing, you know, in these games is honestly how he's practiced for the majority of the fall.
I don't know with that, if this is relevant or not, but that redshirting rule, you know, still, I think the last I saw is still you can't play in a game. I was wondering if with Emmanuel, is that even a discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I think the rule's still the same, you know, and we really haven't had any discussions. You know, we'll see what comes up this week on that, but you know, I think it would be great if, you know, they could come up with something in basketball. I mean, I think eventually they're going to have to. I mean, obviously football's done it; it's made sense, and you know, I just think for health and safety, for personal development, we're coming out of an era where guys got 5 years of eligibility. What's wrong with giving, you know, guys, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, 4 years plus, you know, 9 games, you know, whatever, you know, whatever the ratio ends up being. I think it's, you know, 30% is probably the number they work off for football. Yeah.
Or maybe just a straightforward across sports they've also talked about.
Yeah. I mean, you're having conversations I'm not having, Bruce. So when they tell me what we can do, I'll be like, hey, thank you. That's a good decision.
Well, and this is, I know it's unusual at this day and age anyway to even think about registering a guy, but with Emmanuel,
it's not unusual here.
Yeah, and with E-Man, he seems like he has that long-term potential. That's
I mean, listen, E-Man's doing a great job. He's getting so much better, and you know, E-Man's, you know, position on our roster is no slight to him or his ability or his talent. He's gotten so much better the last few months. It's almost staggering. We have other really good players that have a little bit more experience, and that's a good thing. And that's, you're going to have those kind of situations when you're at a program like Arizona, and it's my job to, you know, handle those delicately because it impacts a kid's career. And I really believe in E-Man, and I think he's got a ton of potential in him. And listen, I think redshirting for us is, you know, across the board has almost worked out. I mean, hey, listen, I'm happy Dylan Anderson redshirted last year. I really am. I'm so happy for him. He's got 3 good years at Boise to make a huge impact. I mean, that's awesome. You know, I would have felt horrible if he would have played and only played, you know, limited minutes and then burned a year. Now he only has 2 years to play. So, I mean, I'm happy he redshirted as well. You know, I wish we would have redshirted Phillip for him. You know, I wish we would have redshirted Adama and those guys would have had another year. I mean, that's genuinely how I feel. It doesn't always work out that way, but I think just anything you could do to lengthen those guys' careers is a good thing.
All right, still got that half-court shot, looks like, right?
I may have made one today. Yeah. I don't know.
There's no traveling on those? You'll have to.
Wait. I mean, I think so. I don't know. We can watch the replay if you want. I don't think I'm traveling.